Aloha, my name is Daniel Roden, student at the University of California, Santa Barbara and retail specialist, and welcome back to yet another retail case study. Today we're going to go over a case study that is covering a concept that not a lot of people know about. It's called the Great Indoors. It's a very clever concept with a great title that I find funny because you want to say the great outdoors, but Sears Holdings Corporation, which was the mastermind behind this one, Sears Roebuck and Company before Sears Holdings, made this as a type of home improvement store that could combat Home Depot and Lowe's as well. It's a clever title to get people inside stores instead of getting outside. So here we are talking about this concept, and we're going to delve into how it was created, the lifespan about it, and the ultimate decline that it suffered. And let's get right into it. Okay, so in this case study, we'll be going over the introduction. We'll be going over what the Great Indoors is, the concept and visualization of the specialty store, the grand opening in 1998 and the expansion in 2002, the first round of closures in the mid 2000s, the continued decline in the 2010s, the final round in 2012, and the ultimate conclusion of this case study. Introduction to the case study. In the late 1990s, Sears, Roebuck and Company, in order to diversify their portfolio, decided to launch a new series of stores under the name of the Great Indoors in order to compete against companies such as the Home Depot and Lowe's in the home improvement and development department. As a small known concept that remained at 20 stores for a small portion of its existence, the Great Indoors proved to be an interesting choice by Sears in order to attract more customers in a dire time of change for the company. In the case study, we'll be going over the visualization of what Sears had for people decorating their indoor world and how it was lost 3 decades later. The Great Indoor. Throughout the 1990s, Sears had some tense competition with other department store chains such as Kmart, Walmart, Target Corporation, and others not mentioned in this lecture/video. Sears began to lose market share as a result, and once what used to be America's place to shop. Sears used to be the Amazon of the time period, the time frame back then, and Amazon is what Sears used to be. So they used to be where to shop, and now they've lost a lot of market share. So as a result, Sears sold off a lot of their major assets that they had throughout the 20th century, such as their financial services they introduced and their real estate departments in order to continue to restructure the company to refocus their attention on the retail assets and factors that they had. In the late 1990s, this was apparent when Sears launched two major spin-off series as retail chains to compete with other companies. The first one was the acquisition of Orchard Supply Hardware, or known as OSH. Now, maybe some of you might know what OSH is. It's basically a Lowe's or something like that, in which they sold home improvements and gardening materials. They're basically a Ace Hardware store. Moreover, in the following year, in 1997, Sears would announce a new chain of retail stores to combat the same mentioned companies. This would be named the Great Indoors. Aside from selling gardening tools and other accessories, the Great Indoors, as mentioned in Sears' 2000 financial report, would be, quote, specializing in home decorating and remodeling, averaging approximately 100,000 net selling square feet, dedicated to the four main rooms of the house: kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, and great room, close quote. Due to the ever-changing consumer base and growth in individuals purchasing housing and their purchasing power as a whole, Sears had a perfect idea to diversify the retail portfolio in which they could start this retail chain to further attract customers. And this brings us to our next point of the grand opening of the Great Indoors in 1998 and their ultimate expansion in 2002. Sears Roebuck and Company proudly introduced the Great Indoors in 1998 with their first store opening in Lone Tree, Colorado. With a showcase that was approximately 155,000 selling square feet, the store offered over 50,000 items in the local area that specialized in home improvement and development category. Furthermore, and just to keep in mind, the Great Indoors had cafes. Now you can think of it of Little Caesars inside Kmart locations or Pizza Hut and cafes and Target stores, Subway and Walmart. You get the point. Brands in the store included Bosch, Bose, KitchenAid, and Kohler. This growth further continued as the Great Indoors expanded in Scottsdale, Arizona in 1999 and rapidly grew in Southern California in locations in Chino, Irvine, and Burbank. It also grew in Texas, Illinois, and other states across the United States by 2002. This ultimately brought the store location count to approximately 20 stores. And mind you, to also keep in mind, this was their peak at around 2021 stores. These stores were from 100,000 square feet to 200,000 square feet and employed 300 employees at each store, so all around that approximately. By placing stores in areas that were growing in terms of real estate and population, this was pretty faithful. The company was faithful behind this concept in terms of their success. However, this would be proven wrong through the external factors and internal factors that occurred with the company and the economy during the time. First round of closures in mid-2000s. Starting in 2003, as a result of slumped sales and continued store closures, Sears decided to close 3 The Great Indoors locations. These locations were in Arlington and Willowbrook, Texas, and Cincinnati, Ohio, in which they were affected by this decision, and this put the store count to 18. However, this did not stop Sears from closing additional locations. As a result of the merger between Kmart Corporation and Sears Roebuck and Company to make Sears Holdings Corporation, concepts such as Sears Grand, which we previously talked about in other videos, if you haven't watched that one, you can reference it and go back and watch it if you'd like. And the Great Indoors were in tough positions as both companies, for Kmart and Sears, were trying to reevaluate their efforts into the core retail operations and full-line stores instead of these specialty stores. The merger and continued decision pushed some of the Great Indoors locations to close their doors starting in 2005. Stores such as the one in Deerfield, Illinois were impacted. 2 locations closed after the merger, and this put the store count at 16 by the beginning of 2007, as stated in their annual report. In total, from 2002 to 2007, 5 years total, 4 locations closed. This amounts to approximately 20% of the Great Indoors retail portfolio. Continued decline in 2010s. After a set of closures concluded in 2007, the Great Indoors stabilized at 16 store locations. However, this wouldn't be the last set of closures due to external factors revolving around the economy at the time. As you may have known, there was a recession in the United States and worldwide from 2007 to 2008. The United States took a large impact from that as retail sales and purchasing powers of a lot of individuals were impacted, mostly of purchasing houses. Of course, during the period before 2007, a lot of people were purchasing housing, they're making new deals, the banks were giving out loans or mortgages like it was nothing. And then the housing market bubble burst. Everything collapsed. A lot of companies went out of business. And of course, a lot of people weren't purchasing housing. So the recession impacting retail sales and also purchasing power, which also impacted retail sales even more because people can't decorate their homes if they can't buy one. So as a result, the Great Indoors suffered immensely from the recession and also from the company decision to merge, which resulted in really slumped sales. The Great Indoors closed a lot of locations between 2008 and 2010 to focus on full-line department stores. As seen in the 2009 Sears annual report, the Great Indoors went from 16 locations to only 12. The 4 locations closed were in Schaumburg, Illinois, Las Vegas, Nevada, Woodbridge, New Jersey, and Chino, California, with the round of closures in November 2008. With 12 locations entering a new decade, Sears Holdings Corporation needed to make drastic changes in order to compete in different retail categories. Moreover, with the ongoing recession, less purchasing power of individuals and houses, and also really tense competition between Home Depot and Lowe's in which the Great Indoors didn't offer the same quality and prices that they already established decades before. The Great Indoors under Sears would continue to decline. Now, the point I want to bring up before I mention the second to last one is that in 2010 It was the last year that Sears Holdings Corporation was fully profitable. For 12 years, or approximately around that, if they haven't been profitable since, they've been consistently ongoing being unprofitable. They've been losing money. So, of course, due to this, we're going to know that a lot of things are going to start unraveling in 2010, specifically with this one. So, due to this type of recession and lower sales, this will lead to Sears Holdings Corporation closing an additional 3 stores in 2011, which were in Irvine in Burbank, California, and Broomfield, Colorado. This would lead for the specialty store chain to only 9 locations. With the ongoing situation and consistent closures, this would lead to the last decision in 2012, which is the final round of closures. On February 23, 2012, Sears Holdings Corporation made the executive decision to shutter all 9 remaining The Great Indoors locations across the United States. As this includes the first location that opened in 1998 in Lone Tree, Colorado, the specialty line failed to provide low prices in an attractive format for customers to shop at, as opposed to other companies such as the Home Depot, Lowe's, and e-commerce sites such as Amazon. Additionally, due to external factors that have affected consumer attitudes towards purchasing power and buying items related to home development and improvement, liquidations have begun, and they've ultimately concluded in the middle of 2012 to shutter all the stores that the chain had by then. Conclusion. As the Great Indoors was introduced as a concept to help Sears diversify their portfolio into the home improvement market with giants such as the Home Depot and Lowe's, it simply did not go as planned due to the merger between Sears and Kmart, the 2007 to 2008 recession, and consumer behavior changes as a result of the recession that led to changes in buying housing power and other things in the retail market. With the specialty chain reaching a total of around 20 stores at its peak, it will go down as a unique path that Sears chose to operate across the country. As a final piece of commentary, it's pretty unfortunate just to look at it in general of when Sears and Kmart merged in the mid 2000s with between 2004 and 2005. Because when they merged, you had a recession that occurred 2 to 3 years later. Of course, a lot of individuals went out of business, they went unemployed, and they didn't have any money to purchase the things that they wanted. So they always turned to grocery stores because they won't really be affected by the recession. But with department stores, there's always going to be a giant slump in sales and a giant slump of layoffs, store closures, and etc. So this is partially why the merger between Sears and Kmart failed, and particularly why this specialty line went out of business. So we always want to keep it in mind of why companies really failed throughout the time period and how it had a lasting effect until now. And we can see a repeat of that with the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, when a lot of stores went out of business, they closed, furlough, layoffs afterwards, and etc. And that's the ultimate conclusion. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys learn more about the Sears Holdings Corporation concept that may have not, been introduced a lot about for the Great Indoors. And we'll see you soon. Happy holidays. Thanks for watching and stay well. Bye-bye.